Now it's your junior season at EC Central, and as you stated before, your sophomore year, Coop, Robert Battle moved up and playing varsity, and now gave you more motivation to improve your game. Now as a junior, now give some feedback of your goals as a junior.
Well, initially, my junior year started off. I had moved to Atlanta, and I was playing down there. I was already set up at a school, Clark High School in Atlanta. I was going to be playing against. I think his name was Ford. You remember Ford? That went to he got a scholarship to Georgia Tech.
Ford.
Yeah, what is his name? I can't remember his name, but at the time he was an All-American. I was scheduled to play against him and all of that. And I was down there, man. Had big plans. I was in Atlanta. Coach Todd, may he rest in peace, he called me at my house personally. Coop and all them gave him the number.
Yeah.
So he called me and talked to me personally and told me he had a spot on me. He wanted me to come back home. And at that time that was a delicate situation for me because I had moved away, trying to separate from my guys because, like I said, the competition was fierce. Lonsdale and Coop was cold-blooded with it, and I was trying to, basically move to a school to basically become the man. So I moved down to Atlanta at the time,
Gotcha.
where my brother was living at. But anyway, he convinced me to come back home, and I came back home. He had a spot for me, and we played. My junior year was very, we had a successful season. That year was the year that Glenn Robinson, 1991, that Glenn Robinson was tied with. What's the guy's name? Played for Michigan.
Chris Webber.
Chris Webber.
Yeah. That's all right.
Chris Webber. Glenn Robinson and Chris Webber were tied for #1 high school player in the nation that year. And
Gotcha.
our season ended with a loss to them in the regional championship games, which was one of the best high school games ever played.
Exactly. It was packed.
Yeah.
Packed
house.
It's
a historic game that's been documented in the field house. If you go down the speech, you'll read about that.
Yeah. Is there any regrets leaving Atlanta, coming back home? Because you have to. I mean, as you stated, we all play the game of sports as a team first. But then when it's all said and done, it's also about us individuals. Now you left Atlanta where you're gonna be the man, and you came back to Central to now as a team aspect again.
Yeah. I think about that all the time. I believe that if I would have stayed in Atlanta, because the guys I played ball with, I grew up with them since some of them guys since kindergarten. So, peer pressure is involved. I wasn't raised with focusing on academics and athletics. Being a student first and an athlete second. The way I'm training my son now, I believe in my heart if I would have stayed away from my friends, I would have been able to, probably move on to the next level and have a successful college career as well.
I got you. Now you're a senior, EC Central. Before we get into your season, just give me the feeling of how it is playing for EC Central and wearing that Cardinal jersey.
Pride, you represent the city of East Chicago, which has tremendous, historical legacy for us in the state of Indiana, for us basketball. We are a state that has a tremendous legacy in basketball. East Chicago is a town that has had some of the best players to ever represent our state. So it's just legacy. You represent 2 historic high schools, East Chicago Washington, East Chicago Roosevelt. So when you put on that jersey, man, you represent everybody that's from East Chicago, everybody that ever played in East Chicago, everybody that ever went to school in East Chicago. So yeah, it's deep.
Gotcha. Now your senior years begin. Now give me your focus and your goals as a senior.
Well, here it goes. It's our last go around. Like I said, we've been dreaming about this, all our life. Matter of fact, at practice coming up, man, from elementary, junior high school, even in high school, we used to count down on the clock. I had the ball, Khan had the ball, Abe had the ball, Reese had the ball, Coop had the ball, and we'd count down, last 5 seconds, the guys taking a shot. And we always imagined ourselves in a state title game. Even though we only got to semi-state, we made it to semi-state and we lost to semi-state. But our senior year was pretty successful as well. A lot of our guys, got off into college, got scholarships behind playing basketball for the Chicago Central.
Gotcha. Now, what happened with you as far as playing college basketball? Was there I mean, just give us some feedback on your recruiting process.
I had a couple JUCOs that I could have went to. Matter of fact, I could have went to the same school that Lonzel and Abe ended up going to, but I chose not to go. I chose to go to the military.
Okay.
At the time, I was losing. I was kind of losing interest in basketball. You becoming a man at 18. You think you know the world, and you think you know everything. I was basically losing a little interest in basketball at the time. I went through a little phase.
So you hold on. So all your life you've been loving basketball, and now you turn 18 years old, and now you lose the love. I mean why though?
The streets, man. At the time, we what got my little brother killed was I believe an effect of how we all changed at that time. You know, the drug game and the gangs and the guns came into the city, and it basically it ruined a lot of kids. A lot of lives, especially the lives of my little brother's generation. My little homies. I got so many of them little guys that's either dead or doing serious jail time. So we got off our focus. Basically, just the devil came in, man. We got off our focus, got off our squad, lost our love for basketball, got off into the streets, and it trickled down into a lot of the guys that was up under us.
Okay.